Stephen A, Stephen A, Stephen A, Stephen A. Stephen A. Smith on First Take talking about the firing of one Chris Grier, the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel, as of right now, still has his job. Tua Tagovailoa, as of right now, still has his job. And Stephen A. Smith, somehow, some way, following the ESPN playbook, turns this into a race issue. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. I wish I could say I'm surprised, but folks, I don't think any of us are surprised with what Stephen A. Smith had to say. If you missed it, let's take a listen.
It's BS. That's the first fire? Really? That's what we doing? With what we've seen, what we just finished talking about. You know, there's things that need to be modified, et cetera, but the personnel that they have on their squad, although we're not happy with it, we didn't walk into this season thinking they were going to be trash. We looked at their roster and we said they got some potential. We'll see what happens. It was about Tua. It was about Mike McDaniel. And the brother get fired first. All I know is this. I better hear Mike McDaniel's name today.
Oh, my God.
I better hear Mike McDaniel's name today.
But
it better not be just Chris Grier. And I'm not saying that he don't deserve it because of the way they look. At the end, you at the helm. I got it. I understand it. Listen, I'm all for brothers as head coaches, GMs. We know what battles I've been fighting for over 30 years. Okay, I got it. All right? But we go because when you don't get the job done, you don't get the damn job done. Period. I got it. Don't tell me it's just him. Don't tell me we gonna leave Mike McDaniels in place and we just gonna fire him and we gonna move forward. Damn that. I don't want to hear. I'm waiting for more news. I'm waiting for more news. I can't defend Chris Grier with some of the decisions that have been made personnel-wise. I got it. I understand it. It's unfortunate, but I got it. But I'll be damned if it gets to stop there. Oh, hell no.
So let me get this straight, Stephen A. Smith. You agree that the personnel isn't up to snuff. You can't defend him on the decisions that he's made bringing in the personnel. So in other words, you're not happy either. You just don't want to see the brother be the first one to go. Oh, you hate to see it. Oh, you hate to see it. Stephen A. Smith, let me just tell you this real quick. Mike McDaniel will not be returning next year as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I think I can say it. I can agree. You can agree. Folks watching, I'm sure we all agree on that premise. Tua Tagovailoa, 50% shot that he's still the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins next year. I can agree. You can agree. Shout out to the folks watching. I'm sure we all can agree on that. The difference is why you don't get rid of Mike McDaniel this second, although I'm sure time's tick. Yeah, Chris Berman, shout out to you. I'm from that era. Although time's ticking for Mike McDaniel, I don't know if the Dolphins have anybody that's capable right now of calling plays. I don't know if the Dolphins have anybody right now on the staff that's capable of stepping into the interim head coaching spot. I'm not sure that anybody on the Dolphins staff right now has anybody that can step into an offensive coordinator spot either. Mike McDaniel is him and Tua are married at the hip. You don't get rid of one without getting rid of the other. If you fire Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins have nobody to call plays, well, now you're giving a first-time play caller the opportunity to call plays in Miami. The argument might be it's already looking bad in Miami. Can it look any worse? It's a very valid argument. But I'm giving you a reason why Mike McDaniel today might still have his job as opposed to Chris Grier. Tyreek Hill went down. They didn't do anything try to replace Tyreek Hill. They've been shopping Jalen Waddle, whether it's the Giants, whether it's the Steelers. They've been shopping Jalen Waddle. They went out. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick in the off. What has that really done? So everything doesn't need to be made into a race issue, Steven. I got to be honest, man. Everything does not need to be made into a race issue. Not to mention, Grier was replaced with Champ Kelly, a black man. Another horrible take by Stephen A. Smith. So we got one black man fired, and we put in a new black man as interim GM, and Stephen A. Smith still has a problem with it. What if Dolphins ownership said, you know what? Let's give this other gentleman a shot. Clearly, Chris Grier doesn't have it. Let's give Champ Kelly a shot and see what he can do as interim GM going into the deadline. Maybe we'll put him in that role permanently. Maybe it's taking somebody who's not qualified to do the job and putting somebody who they might think is qualified to do the job. But Stephen A. Smith, he's just into the whole race baiting angle over there at ESPN. Yeah, it's about him being black. Definitely not about them making the playoffs 5 times in 25 years with 0 wins. I'm going to subscribe to YouTube TV simply to avoid Stephen A. Smith and his race baiting content. Not to mention, Tua isn't exactly in the top half of the Peter Griffin scale. Why have an interim head coach the rest of the year? They have eyes. They saw the disaster with the Jets when they fired the head coach in the season. You fire the GM first so the new GM can choose his coach. McDaniel is already fired. He just hasn't been told yet. It makes perfect sense that if you're not happy with your GM, you replace him first. Very valid point. What's the point of getting rid of Mike McDaniel, installing a new head coach, only for a new regime to come in and fire that current head coach and replace him again? No. Get rid of the GM first. New GM comes in at the end of the season, or Champ Kelly keeps his job in the offseason, and he finds his own head coach. He goes out and finds his own quarterback. Valid points. Very, very, very valid points. I'm black, and it's not about skin color. It's how you do the job. Chris Grier didn't do his job after 9 years. 9 years! This is the guy that decided to get rid of Brian Flores, correct? Seems like a bad decision in hindsight. Hindsight's 20, but it seemed like a bad decision. It was a questionable decision at the time it went down, and now it looks even worse. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support. Like the video, comment, subscribe. See you later. Have a good one. Peace.